And corporate-wide, Hexagon Composites has two different segments, two different business segments. We have a low-pressure LPG, Type 4, plastic liner, fiberglass overwrap, very lightweight. That's our sister company, Rigasco, Hexagon Rigasco. And then in the high-pressure area, we have the CNG, the hydrogen cylinders, our mobile pipeline transportation solutions that we offer. We also have, in October of last year, we acquired a company called Masterworks. And so now we have the capability of doing prototype composite components for other industries, drive shafts or things along those lines, which are not within the CNG or hydrogen environment. But they also have equipment capability of producing composite fabrication equipment as well. So when we take a look at our cylinder business in the high pressure area, which I'm responsible for, we have various sizes of Type 4 tanks that we have a unique process that allows us scalability. So we can do extremely small cylinders in the 10 to 20 liter range, all the way up to our Titan mobile pipeline solution, which is an 8,500 liter water volume cylinder. Extremely large, world's largest in what the type and technology that we apply. You use composites for multiple reasons. Reduction of weight is absolutely one of the reasons that you want to use composite materials. It reduces the overall mass of the cylinder significantly, roughly 70% versus a Type 1 steel container. And the ability to move your cargo as opposed to the framework or the items of which you're having to carry them in is a very beneficial thing. We have focused on the larger fleet, the larger customer situation. We have the world's largest capacity when it comes to Type 4 technology. Okay, between our Lincoln facility, which by the end of this year will have roughly 120,000 cylinder capacity, and our sister company in Norway, Hexagon Raufoss, that also has a capacity of 100 to 120,000 much smaller cylinders. We by far have the largest capacity in the world to support the Type 4 technology. Well, certainly our most notable joint venture that we have to date is with Agility Fuel Systems in Santa Ana, California. And that's a good example of where our focus has aligned with Agility. And that is, they needed a supplier that was capable of fulfilling all of their needs. We came up with a business relationship that is going to be extremely attractive between both companies. And they have announced a facility on the East Coast of the United States to support the heavy-duty Class 8 over-the-road truck industry. And as part of that, there will also be a portion of that facility that will support tank fabrication, of which it will be a jointly owned facility, but it will be operated by Hexagon. Hexagon Raufoss now supports CNG passenger car market, okay, for smaller cylinders that they produce, primarily for the passenger car market in Europe is their major focus. They do supply some cylinders into the car market within Venezuela. The second half of that business is Hexagon Bus Systems, which is a newly formed company that is to support the sale of cylinders manufactured in Lincoln for the bus market in Europe and Western and Eastern Europe, as well as other parts of the world that Hexagon Lincoln can't get to readily. They support that business by not only selling cylinders as a entity for us, but they also support it by providing bus system solutions, fuel pods, throughout Europe and other parts of the world as well. And we do have a joint venture associated with Rugasco, which is a Russian joint venture with our LPG company, Rugasco. And part of that is also support of the CNG opportunities that might exist and come up within the Russian market. I think the matchup of vehicles coming on board and infrastructure coming on board within North America has been reasonable. You cannot expect somebody to go out and invest a few $1 million on a CNG infrastructure and not have the vehicles to be able to support it. But we have CNG, 3 CNG stations in Lincoln, Nebraska that have been very effective. We have one that is near our facility that we use quite often with our vehicles. And you have to be able to support that. And I think you have to be rational that the vehicles in the station have to come hand in hand. Certainly there have been entrepreneurs out there and progressive people and companies to be able to support the infrastructure. That's wonderful. I appreciate the entrepreneurial spirit that they have and the emphasis that they have on putting the infrastructure in. So it is important for us to keep our costs reasonable for the fleet owners and those people that are converting. We certainly understand the obligation there. And we are doing everything we can. The Agilities of the world are doing everything they can to keep the costs low, okay, as much as possible. At the same time, one of the major challenges we have is the range anxiety that exists. So the fleet owners and the truckers are putting more cylinders on, which increases and inflates that initial cost. I think Los Angeles is a great point of case study where they went and reduced and eliminated all their diesel transit buses. And so the majority of their transit buses today are CNG. And I think that has been driven by the environmental benefits of natural gas. There are many other cities within the United States that are also driving in the direction of reduced emissions for their transit properties. Lincoln, Nebraska bought 5 New Flyer natural gas buses. That to me is amazing. We have wonderful air quality. In that particular case, the new director of the StarTran, the transit bus department, recognized the benefits of natural gas, both environmentally, but also from a financial standpoint, and invested. And they will be buying another 23 buses in the future. So that's exciting. I mean, it's small, right in the middle of the United States. We're excited to see that Agility has won a number of large contracts recently, and we support Agility on pretty much all of their back of cab and saddle mount for the Class 8 vehicles with our cylinders. So anytime that opportunities come up for Agility is certainly a good thing for Hexagon Lincoln. So that always is a wonderful opportunity and a worthy announcement. We are still running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our CNG for the heavy duty side within North America. The bus market in Europe has been extremely strong. And so we see good opportunities for us. Again, a lot of that has been with our choices as to the direction and business model associated with our particular customers that we support. We also support El Dorado bus in North America, which has been extremely successful with PACE, which is the Chicago Transit. So we've been very successful with some of our entities. But overall, I don't believe it's as exciting for everybody. We see that some of the smaller players are being hurt. by the situation and the environment that is taking place today. And Hexagon will be opportunistic relative to mergers and acquisitions that we might see. We will be strategic on who we might acquire. The example was Masterworks in October was a strategic acquisition for us relative to our expansion plans. We're expanding today, we continue to expand, but they also have other unique capabilities for us as well. And when it comes to Latin America has always been extremely interesting. Certainly the population of NGV vehicles in Latin America is very high. It's been dominated by the Type 1s, and that's been for good reason. But we believe that there may be opportunity for our type of products. Again, they're going to be more expensive. Whenever you use composite, things get a little bit more expensive. So we have to find the right mix of the expense and the benefit. And so what we're doing in Latin America today is exploratory, trying to get to understand the business, the markets, and the competitors and the players within the markets as well. And the cylinder manufacturers in Latin America have been very successful. You know, one of the most successful ones you have is Inflex here in Argentina. Very good company, and we recognize what they've done and been very successful here. We don't make Type 1 products. There are as many stations in Argentina than there are in the United States. And a good portion of those in the United States are either antiquated or private. So reduce the number roughly by 50%. So Argentina certainly has a lot more infrastructure, and that's more beneficial for the fleet owner, because again, back to the conversation about too many cylinders raises that initial cost. Again, you have to have a balance there between cylinders and the need for fuel and the infrastructure. Hexagon also has interest in hydrogen fuels as well. Okay. So we have the similar solutions that we have for natural gas, ground storage, onboard storage, mobile pipeline. We have those same opportunities and solutions for the hydrogen environment as well. It's significantly different in nature, obviously. Now you're talking about cylinders that are 700 bar. And you're talking about refueling buffer tanks at 950 bar. Significantly higher pressure with a molecule that is extremely small and slippery. So it certainly is a lot more interesting in that particular environment because of the engineering challenges. And Hexagon has a strong engineering inertia. We have roughly 50 engineers in Lincoln, Nebraska that support our product development, our materials studies, our material sciences. In the hydrogen environment is one that we are very excited about. It is certainly of interest today, but what we look for is the investment, the small investments today that will pay off in 10 to 15 years. And hydrogen is not something that you will be strongly benefited within the next few years. But certainly 5, 10, 15 years from now, we have to be able to be in a position to support that activity. So much the same as what we did when Hexagon bought our company in 2005 and invested in us, seeing where natural gas was going. We see the opportunities to be able to support hydrogen, and starting out at an appropriate level today with personnel resources to support that, but with plans in the future to be able to be in position to support those vehicles and infrastructure as they come along.